I think the hope that it's going to please the audience that have been anticipating it. For us as a group, it was just a miracle that we got here, and a thrill that we got here, and it's a testament to the team behind the show that they were tenacious enough to keep going until we all got together and we all jumped in together. So it's, the biggest thrill is tonight. Actually, is just knowing that we've finally done it. I think, well, I can only tell you my own experience of watching it a couple of weeks ago was to go in and to feel all the horrible stuff that's going on around us in this country and around the world just leave you for a couple of hours. So pure escapism, fun, characters you care about, and a ripping good yarn. Gosh, I wish I knew the answer to that. I suspect it's something to do with characters that one wants to spend time with, and a world that is just out of our reach but not so historical that it seems like ancient history, and stories that we can all just latch onto. And it looks beautiful.
Seeing the family again, I mean, that's what it feels like. We're like this big family now. So getting all back together those first few days of filming was amazing, and it feels like a real celebration bringing it to the big screen, and it feels like a real privilege, to be part of something for 7 years, and then to finally bring it to the big screen feels like an enormous thing. So it's wonderful. It's extremely entertaining. It has all of their beloved characters in the story, everybody that they love. It's all turned up a notch. It's a slightly grander note, the whole thing, of course, because it's the royal visit, and of course it's for the big screen. And I think it will provide escapism for people. Well, there are many ingredients. I think firstly, the story and the characters that Julian created. I think first and foremost it comes down to the writing, and I think the design, the set design, the costumes, the nostalgia of that time. I mean, there are so many reasons, but I think there's something about these characters that are very, very relatable to people. There's something about people trying to be good and do right, whatever they're trying to do, and I think people really relate to that somehow.
It was truly a reunion to see them again, but it was like I kind of never stopped seeing them. It was very easy to slide right back in to our dynamic that we had before. I think that it was our ambition to give the fans what they want, so it's all their favorite characters viewed again through a very loving cinematic lens. All the characters say all the things that people love hearing them say, and the stories are played out in the way that the fans love to see them play out. And that's as much as I can tell you, because I haven't seen it myself. I'm going to see it for the first time tonight. I wanted to be wearing diamonds before I saw it. It was a combination of a world people wanted to escape into at this juncture in time for whatever reason, characters that they could get behind, and great stories.
Well, I think one wanted to try and make it undisappointing to fans of the television, but at the same time sufficiently cinematic to fill the big screen. That was really the kind of double we were working for. And also series writing is quite different to writing. The films are completely differently structured, because everything has to be complete within a movie, which of course it doesn't in an episode. So, all of that. But I mean, it was fun. I enjoyed it. The whole thing's been fun. Well, in a way, there was something almost surreal about reassembling at Haig. There we all were. I mean, I started writing this show 10 years ago, which in our business is a very long time. Normally something lasts a few months and then that's it, it's finished. So it was quite strange. I mean, we've gone 15 years in the show, but we've gone 10 in real life. So the difference is not great, really. Well, I think a bigger, bolder, brighter version of Downton, but I hope it's undisappointing. That's what I've aimed at. I'm pleased with it, so I hope they will be.
Well, I mean, it was like getting back together with your family, really, and having a big old party and celebration, and remembering how much we loved making the show and how much it still means to people. And yeah, it was was great fun. Well, I think it's, you know, for the fans of the show, it's characters that you already know and love. Seeing them in a very fun scenario of having the King and Queen come to stay at Downton. And yeah, for those who don't know the show, I think it will still resonate, it will still work. You'll get to know these lovable characters very quickly, I think. I think Julian, as we know, is the genius, and there he goes. But yeah, I think if we knew what he did to create it, everyone would try and copy it and bottle it, because it's been a magical alchemy of bringing everyone together. But yeah, I think it's a big gang of great actors, hopefully, and everyone, you can pick the character that you like the best, really, with a big ensemble like ours.
He's kind of grown into his role, and I felt like I was conscious about playing him a bit more settled, because when we first see him, he's very sort of nervous and like fresh-faced and bushy-tailed, and bit at times moved on, so he's kind of settled in.
Loads of fantastic-looking cinematic, epic shots, romance, drama, pathos, humour, just a classic Downton Abbey thing.
I think the biggest joy actually for me has been getting to work with these people again on a show that is so loved around the world, and the fact that people want to see it. And there seems to be such an appetite. So the idea of getting Downton, making it bigger, making it better, making it bolder, and putting it on the big screen. Yeah, I think all of it is just exciting, yeah.
I think the world's got a fascination with the British royal family. I think that's well documented. And Downton is an extension of that kind of life. So I think that's huge. And then if you throw in an Oscar-winning screenwriter in Julian Fellowes and a double Oscar winner in Dame Maggie Smith, I don't think you can't go far wrong.
I think it's just a whole assortment of Julian's writing, wonderful characters, the castle being one of them. The castle's stunning, and that sort of keeps everybody focused in on that. And he writes great stories, great characters. Everybody can relate to one of the characters.
I think it's because the fans really wanted it. I mean, every time we did an interview about anything, something else that we were doing, it always ended up at the end of the interview saying, is there going to be a Downton movie? Will there be another series? Will there be a movie? And everyone we met in the street always said, is there going to be a film? Is there going to be a film? So there was obviously the excitement and the demand there. So to be able to do the film, and hopefully the fans will love it, and they've been so loyal and they've enjoyed the TV series so much, it's nice. It's a good present for them. Well, the TV series was cinematic anyway, and there was always a big, lush, expensive feeling to it with the costumes and the design, the big house, the countryside, the balls, the castles. So Downton translates very well to the big screen, and this is just blown even larger, really. So I think they'll just settle down, and when they hear that theme music playing, they'll go, oh, lovely, here we are. It trades on nostalgia, a fond look back at the past. It trades on romance. It's on cynical. It's about people falling in love, from Daisy the Maid. Maggie Smith even nearly had a fling with a Russian prince, didn't she? So it's about people looking for happiness and doing their best, both upstairs and downstairs. And I think it's the equal focus on upstairs and downstairs.
It's really unusual as British actors to sort of, unless you're in a soap opera, to spend this much time together. 6 years. And so, and when you marry that with the extraordinary success that the show had, it meant that we sort of formed this very particular relationship with each other. We all shared that experience. There's something about seeing that location, Highclere Castle, Downton Abbey, on the big screen, and with those extraordinary costumes and a wonderful, wonderful story. It's a kind of a regal story, and it sort of seems fitting to have that on a big screen.
It's been such a joy getting back together, getting the gang back together, and just that thing of getting to revisit a character that you thought you'd sort of finished with. I think that's such an honour, and you don't really get to do that very often. It's bigger, it's more grand, it's a bigger scale. The set pieces are bigger and better, it's beautiful.
I have just joined this. I am on the outskirts, if you like, of the main event. But I think and I hope that the fans will get exactly what they want from this film. They've been waiting a long time. I think you've got the fantasy world, if you like, of the rich people and the workers down below. But historically he gives great storytelling, but also gives a human story to all the everyone who's dressed up and having these dinner scenes. But there's sometimes something a bit edgy going on, and I think that's what makes it different.
Let's say that I'm a butler from another camp who invades the sanctity of downstairs. I think it's irresistible, the world of upstairs and downstairs, the overlap and collisions between those two worlds and the relationships between everybody who works there.
I play Queen Mary, her the wife of King George V, and they pay an unexpected visit to Downton Abbey, and much to the alarm of the family, who have to prepare, which is quite an undertaking. Julian and the whole production has matched it up to a big screen. I mean, the story is sort of fuller, bigger.
What they apparently did in those days was when they decided to visit a stately home, they would send the invitation, a sort of reverse invitation. The King and Queen will be coming to stay, which must have been a nightmare for the people who owned the house. And it's rather wonderful to be transported to a lifestyle that we'd all rather like to have enjoyed ourselves. And if we can't, then at least we can enjoy it by watching other people do it.
Lucy comes as part of the royal party, so she's a lady's maid to Lady Bagshaw, and I think she's at a period in her life where she's quite unsure of where she fits in and who she is, and I think the kind of nature of being a lady's maid is that you are slightly between the two worlds, you can drift between them, and so she meets someone at Downton who kind of helps her find her way. Downton, when it was a TV series, was kind of beautiful enough and epic enough, but I think that it's just gone that extra level in terms of being cinematic. The location looks completely beautiful.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys,
is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey